Hi muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are getting quality, and I know you guys are noticing that I am not in my normal hotel room that I normally film in. I am at Rosanna's, and I have Rosanna here and the cutest dogs of all time. First of all, we just filmed the podcast, so thank you for giving me some time because I wanted to continue the conversation we had at VidCon.
Yes.
First of all, thank you for coming, everyone. Give it up for Rosanna Pansino, everyone.
Thanks for having me.
When I did the show, it was like a lore wall.
Yeah.
So it would be like me, and then it would go to a photo, and it would go to a photo, and I would explain it. And you're in the lore wall. It would go from like me to Derry to chicken box to you because of the video.
The chicken box.
I was saying to my mom I would have loved to have attempted to make you a chicken box, but I don't know if you guys do the sauce because the sauce is so like
Specific.
It's like taco sauce and stuff like that. Like, but it's like a nasty one. Anyway, I'm gonna get there eventually for you. But anyway, thank you so much. And the conversation we were having was about AI, and we were talking about content creation as a whole because we were at VidCon and we were surrounded by creators, and there were actually panels as well that were talking about AI.
So many, yeah.
This all stemmed because I had made a video right before, or no, actually, we talked about something and then 2 days later something happened. So we talked about AI taking over YouTube.
Right.
And how artists are going to be out of a job, from thumbnails to editors to this like quick pace. If people can do it cheaper and quicker with AI, then people are out of a job. And then eventually the content creator is out of a job because of, AI people now. We had this long ass conversation outside. And then 2 days later, Mrbeaст launched the AI thumbnail tool thing, right? And I'd made a video on it, and I was so pissed in my video because people were supporting something that is eventually going to take over all of us. And content creation has always been about creativity and creating. And so my first question for you is, you have been making content for a long time. How have you witnessed the change of it turning into like a machine? Because it literally is now. We know the algorithm, but we are genuinely working against like a machine now as well. And I've only recently joined, but from you being a part of it, how has that looked?
I think that's one of the biggest shifts that's happened on the platform. I think when we were talking, I was saying that when we were making content earlier on, like the OGs, the amount of algorithm, it was just a few lines of code. It was a baby little algorithm. And so people who would find your content and share it were finding it naturally, organically. It was having organic growth and being it became popular organically. The views were organic. And now the algorithm is millions, billions lines of code. And when you create content, you have to hit certain metrics, mathematical metrics that it's looking for in order to get in the algorithm. So you're creating content for your community, but you're also creating it for the algorithm and its metrics. Otherwise, it won't even show your videos to your own community, which is frustrating. But I think that the future of it is kind of the same, and I've noticed that I tend to get along with content creators who have the similar values as I do. Content creators who value not only the numbers, because numbers do matter.
Yeah.
Numbers matter when you're creating content and when you're running a business, when you're an entrepreneur. The numbers matter.
Yeah.
You need the numbers to be right to run a successful business.
Or to keep doing it, yeah.
Right, and to keep doing it and to have longevity and create stability for your employees. That needs to happen, but you also got to care about people. And those are the people that I tend to get along with the most, are people who care about numbers and people. And unfortunately, with the algorithms going the way that they're going, it's rewarding on a lot of platforms just people who just pay attention to the numbers. They will do anything for views and money. So those are kind of the two categories I've seen creators fall into. Is you're either in the category of making the most views and money, and that's all you care about. Money, views, or you're in the other category where you care about the numbers, but you also care about people and the community and the content that you're making and quality. And so there's this balance. So and I understand, but it's just, it kind of sucks. And I think AI is dangerous, for many reasons, but it's here.
Yeah.
for better or for worse. There's nothing we can do about it, but it's just being put out there so fast, and it's developing and growing at a rate that I don't think people can make safeguards against.
Yeah.
And I think that it's going to get us into a lot more trouble a lot quicker than we're going to even know what to do with or adapt to. Then the safeguards are going to be developed. So I think that there's issues with that. I think that there's huge environmental issues. I wrote down some notes because I'm dyslexic, you guys. But I was like, I'm going to write this down because this was the CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman. He did an interview, and this is his quote: "A significant fraction of the power on Earth should be spent running AI computers," end quote.
Crazy, by the way.
And so just knowing how much AI is probably going to be present in the future, I have no way of knowing, but I have a feeling that it's going to be a big part of our future. And especially content creators, I think it's one of the challenges. Like if you were a content creator starting today, brand new baby content creator, I think that AI would be one of the most difficult and biggest challenges that content creators face in the future. I think just as a society, I think it's going to be very...
What's crazy is I cannot stress to the muckers that we were literally having a conversation on maybe in 3-5 years, the platform will start, adapting more so towards AI, right? And that will be prioritized. And it honestly, I was saying to my mom, it is crazy that merely 24-48 hours, one of the biggest entities, if not the biggest on YouTube, is not only supporting, but has created loosely a tool in which the day-to-day person can, quite honestly, it literally is just stealing art from people, right? The full concept of an AI thumbnail generator is crazy to me because when it's being promoted as you can type in a channel and then base your thumbnails off of that, that is fundamentally stealing art, right?
Right.
And one of the only sacred places that we kind of had was the creative field. And people love to say that, I got a lot of comments from people being like, well, AI can be used to help creativity. Because I said in my video, AI is the death of creativity, specifically on YouTube with thumbnails and stuff like that. And people were like, AI can help it. But what people aren't having the conversation is AI is not creative in any way. It is stealing from creatives.
It takes the creative ideas and artwork and imagery and music and voices of everything else that has already existed and then creates things within that, but it doesn't create new things.
Yeah. And there was one thing I said to you as well, which was, and again, this was before any of the Beast thumbnail generator thing, which is crazy that it literally came out 2 days later. I think it came out literally at VidCon. We had said as well in terms of what does this look like in the future, and I would love to know your thoughts again, because I said to you what I think eventually is going to happen is people are so overridden by AI slop. And there was we were talking about it off camera, the old style thumbnails, the shocked face and stuff like that. We've kind of moved a little bit past that, and we're now entering, these extravagant AI thumbnails. And it literally is just AI slop. You know what I mean? The over the top, animated, thumbnails. And I said to you that I think what's going to happen is people are going to yearn for authenticity again, and it's going to be that MacBook style, filming one camera, low budget, thumbnail is a screenshot from the video, very Trisha Paytas core. Remember when she would be on the kitchen floor, very much so that, because at what stage do we get so overridden by this kind of stuff? You know what I mean? When do we have too much stuff that we just want a person? So my feeling is that the only way we can move forward is for it to go back to that. What do you see happening though? Because I'm looking at that from a very optimistic standpoint. I don't know what the other option is, babe. What do you think?
I think that AI, for better or for worse, it's here and it's not going anywhere. And in the history of technology, progression, we've never gone backwards. And I think what's going to be really difficult for content creators in the future is having to compete with AI for attention, because if you have an AI tools and bots making AI content and you're just being flooded and bombarded with all of this fake AI content nonstop, it's very hard to carve out a place for your content, authentic content, even if people want to see it.
Yeah.
I think that if it's just, there's so much massive amount of flood of content coming in and it's all AI.
Yeah.
I think it's also really difficult for older generations, especially I would say like my mom, who's in her 70s, because my mom's generation, I've noticed, has had a really hard time differentiating reality from fake articles. And that's even written articles, like articles that come out, news articles in the Onion, and they're like, oh, I saw this article, and I'm like, that's from a spoof website, like that's not a real article. And I think that that issue of like fake news, and especially generations not understanding like that the videos that they're watching could be AI generated or fake, because they're getting so good that they're getting very realistic. And this is the very early stages, that I see it as another way just to spread a ton of misinformation and get people to dislike each other and not trust each other. And I think it's more important than ever that people get their news from credible sources and real sources, not AI generated sources, more than anything. And that's whatever news station you fancy, because no news station is perfect. I know that. I went to college, you know, I got my degree in communication, emphasis in journalism, but a lot of them try.
Yeah.
They try, and when they make mistakes, they make retractions. And there's a lot of news outlets that are dedicated to the ethics of journalism, and they're trying their best. And I really applaud them for it. And that's where I would encourage people to go to like get their news. Not from TikTok AI videos. Maybe that's not the best place to be receiving your news. As it develops, but there's a lot, it's multifaceted for so many reasons, Adam, not just like socially what it's going to do, but also environmentally. We touched on this before, but I think I was really disappointed by Mrbeast, not because he's coming out with an AI thumbnail tool, because, you know, AI thumbnail tools already exist, and he said in many interviews that he uses AI in almost every aspect of creating content at his company. So he's already openly said that he's already using it. It's for me disappointing for many reasons. One, the environmental impact. So using AI destroys the environment. And people are using it at a rate, and it's growing at a rate so fast that we aren't able to keep up. And I wrote down here as a note that like, if we're going to keep using AI the way we are, we should make electricity and computer processing more environmentally friendly. Like that should just happen. We should be putting in billions of like solar panels so that when you're running these huge AI rigs, I don't even know how they're ran because I'm not an engineer in that way, but that it isn't so damaging to the environment. And it bothered me that he's supposed to be Mr. Charity, leading up Team Trees, Team Seas, and then is releasing an AI thumbnail without.
Well, that's my thing as well. And like, again, I really kind of honed in on this in my video, but me and my brothers were talking about this as well, because my brother was like, but wait, doesn't this kind of go against his mission? And I think this kind of speaks for all content creators as well, when it kind of gets to that point where you're prioritizing profit or prioritizing being the first one to do something or being the first one to publicly stand behind this new invention, which isn't even new, but that's what really bothers me, which again, you're saying about the environmental impact of AI, right? But we have a content creator who fundamentally has built up to where he's at right now, and the community of YouTube people have supported him to some stage. And fundamentally, he's now promoting something that wipes out all of them, but it's okay because when you're at the top, you're at the top. And again, I just don't see enough people focusing on when Mrbeast plants 100 trees. If you're generating a thumbnail, you've just burnt all those trees down. You know what I mean? Like it's, you can't have it both ways. And I think we've seen so many examples of this in like Hollywood as well, where people will have a mission or they'll have a brand that is behind doing good, right? But then they'll get to a point where they do something that completely contradicts it. And again, I do want to clarify that Jimmy did walk back on the AI thing after backlash, obviously, and then was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have like real artists, do it. Like you can source real artists." And I just like I think because I cover stuff like this is why I'm so over like performativeness of like throwing something out, seeing how people respond. If they respond good, thank God. But if they don't, I'm gonna immediately pull back. Before I get to that, I don't want to I don't want to forget this thought, which is something I've never seen anyone on YouTube talk about. I may be wrong, but I have looked for it and I've not seen this conversation before, and I would love to know your opinion on it, which is deepfake culture is gaining really quickly. And the more that people upload photos of themselves to AI, the more AI is able to replicate a person. But I've not seen anyone talk about the fact that when someone's in a scandal or a video has resurfaced of someone being racist or problematic or something like that, right? That is career ending, right? We are practically at the stage right now where someone could create an AI video of me or you saying something wildly problematic. And if they distort the video a little bit where it looks like it's secretly recorded or whatever like that, career is done. And this is why specifically with content creators, it should be protecting the space of not allowing that. And again, great point. AI is here. We cannot escape from it. But we shouldn't be promoting or endorsing or creating something that is not only going to take us all out, career, and then probably kill us all, but no one is talking about the fact that it is so easy right now for someone to create a fake video of either of us saying anything, because what do you need in that instance? You need voice recordings. We both talk a lot. Yeah. Podcasts. You're genuinely getting the diction, the whatever. Have you ever thought about that? Because I brought it up to a couple people at VidCon, and it was like some of them, it was like the first time they'd ever thought about it. And other people were like, no, I genuinely do think about that. And one of my friends as well, she won't let me say her name, so God bless her, but she had someone literally probably 4 years ago create a voice memo of her voice from downloading her videos where she was saying something incredibly problematic and incredibly racist. And then it got leaked on Reddit. And still to this day, she tells me that people bring it up. And it's 100% fake. And like, I just wonder if that's ever crossed your mind that can happen. Because again, if we're opening up AI tools that specifically do with YouTube and content creation, opening it up to the public, that sets such a scary place for all of us. Have you ever thought about that when it comes to canceling?
Yeah, I think a lot of people have thought about this and have been starting to worry about deep fakes, but I would really hope that my community, who's known me over 15 years now, would know like kind of who I am as a person. But if not, I'll be here to remind them. Yeah. Like I will tell them that like I've never said the N-word. Yeah. So if there is ever a video that comes out of me deep fake saying
that, it's so scary. It's so
fake.
Scary.
It is 100% fake. And again, just like when a video comes out, check the source. Yeah. Like, I think that's also just the most important thing. Legitimacy, sources. Don't believe everything that you see. I think those are going to be, and also just people who you find trustworthy. Yeah. Now, this is a really interesting topic, and I'm glad we are bringing it up. Like, but I would say that this is the topic of being trustworthy is something that I think is really important, and is something I want to talk to you, because I saw an article that came out in Business Insider actually about the Prime drinks. And this other commentator channel was covering it, how Prime drinks, the sales are tanking because they were saying that a brand based on hype is not succeeding in the long run. It's getting the numbers up front, but they aren't creating a brand based on longevity, which is based on trust. Yeah, it's your community trusting you. And that's something that I really wanted to start like talking to you about and leaning into is like, if my community understands that I'm not a perfect person, but I would like to think I'm trustworthy. Like I try to do the right thing. I try to be honest and fair, even when my feelings get hurt. Yeah. I think that that's and I think it's going to be the most powerful communities in the future, because I think people who are trustworthy and have built communities based on trust are going to be these safe havens in an era of a ton of fake information, fake videos, AI deep fakes, fake, 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 fake,
Yeah.
fake, 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 fake. I think that people will crave reality, and they're going to go to places that they trust and people that they trust. And I think that that for me is the most important, like moving forward, because I don't want to be wishy-washy for people.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like misunderstood. So
Yeah.
I'm going to try to just communicate as clearly as I can moving forward.
I think that's why I kind of like at times as well go like at times too hard in my videos, because I would prefer for people to know where I stand and 100% like think I'm arrogant or think I'm ignorant or whatever, even if they feel that way, because I always really want people to know exactly where I stand on things. And it gets me in trouble a lot. Please.
Right.
But I'm saying I agree with you on that point, which is, again, people yearn for authenticity. And I think that's such a good point about brands living off of initial hype. Also, I've said it so many times on
you can launch a brand off of hype.
You can launch it.
You can launch it, but maintaining it for decades and decades is a different story.
I think as well, though, I've always said this in my videos, there's such an interesting, like looking at it from the outside of what YouTubers release when it comes to products and will they last in the longevity? Because when you look at like energy drinks being towards kids, I mean, it's not going to last in the long run, right? Or
No, it's a poor decision.
yeah. And I think as well, the more that creators start to lose money to AI, I think we're going to see a rise of creators releasing these hype products, because I think we're going to go to a stage where specifically the big creators aren't making as much money as what they once were. And so they're going to, flash out, energy drinks or something like that, right? So that's going to be really interesting to see over the next couple of years. But as depressing as it sounds, I kept saying this to you a couple days ago. I just can't see a world in which there's much longer of this. Like, I feel like it just comes to an end. Like, I understand what you're saying. Like, AI will always be here. It will always, but can it? Like, what happens? Like, people were saying as well, like, when you go to a shop, most people will go to the self-checkout rather than go to the cashier, right? Because people are about convenience. And that is exactly what is happening with thumbnail tools or title tools or
Efficiency.
People having entire videos edited by, AI. And my brother is an editor for YouTube podcasters, and he only got that job recently. And I was shocked that someone was hiring an editor, because I'm so used to people now, full teams are fired. And it's just really interesting because people will be like, oh, but, I don't choose AI or I'm not endorsing it, whatever. The self-checkout thing, which even I'm guilty of myself, it sets this foot forward to companies and the CEOs that people prefer efficiency and quickness and speed. And that's why I truly, truly, truly don't believe that like content creation is going to last that much longer. Like I cannot see a world in which this exists for much longer. And again, I was like having the most depressing conversation with Ro outside. It was like right before you were gonna do like you were about to accept the award for like the Hall of Fame, and I'm like making you so depressed outside about it. But that as well, that's a question I really want to ask you. At VidCon, you were celebrated and you were with creators like Grace Helbig, Smosh, Joey Graceffa.
Yeah.
And it was celebrating creators who've kind of been there and been a staple, right? What was it like being in a content creation world that is now adapting very much so towards AI and then kind of going back to celebrating like the roots? Because that's what VidCon was this year. Was it nostalgic? Was it depressing? Was it happy?
It was all those things. Yeah, it was nostalgic. It was a little sad because I'm seeing the future of AI, and I know that there's nothing I can do to stop it. And I am a realist.
Yeah.
I'm an AI realist. I'm not blind to the fact that AI is now here and it's not going anywhere, for better or for worse. And it can be used for more efficiency as a tool, but I do see it as limiting creativity, and I do see it as stealing. It is a type of content theft. And it is very hard on the environment. And there aren't enough safeguards built for it yet. So as it's rapidly developing and growing, it's not growing at the same rate as safeguards are being made.
Yeah.
So I just don't think humans, and this is maybe just me being kind of blunt, but I don't know if we're smart enough to create all of these AI tools that are growing this quickly without safeguards.
Yeah.
That does concern me. That's a real concern of mine. And I don't know if it would be in 3 years, 5 years, when, those things would become a greater concern. But I do listen to interviews of even individuals who help create these AI systems, and I listen to their concerns. So I would suggest, like, anybody listening, go listen to interviews of people who have created these systems and what they're concerned about. And I feel like they're the experts. Like, what they're concerned about is probably what we should be concerned about. And one of them is the environment. And I really hope that we come up with, like Mrbeast saying, he cares about the environment and doing the team trees and the team Cs and then launching an AI tool. I think those contradict each other.
Yeah.
And again, being a realist, I'm not saying that AI, no one's going to not use it for their thumbnails and stuff, to be more efficient. I get that. But he's the #1 creator in the world and people look up to him. And so if he's leading the charge in advancing AI and stepping into it faster than we're ready, faster than we have safeguards, faster than we have built systems to deal with the energy efficiency, like it's kind of like cart before the horse.
Yeah.
I feel like you're pushing forward without building a safety net.
Yeah.
And I think that's just dangerous.
Well,
and I think it's short-sighted. It's like where that's going to make a lot of money very quickly, but then kind of
burnout. It'll burn out.
Who cares about what happens to everybody else after? I just think it's sad. And I don't know. I feel like he should do a team solar. That should be.
Would that be profitable though? We talked about this on the podcast, which is
right. He's probably will do team water instead, team air. He'll probably sell people air, sell water.
The full thing though is like the question you asked me on the podcast was really interesting. It was like, do people value honesty or performative honesty or something like that, or whatever the thing was? And I think that's exactly it, which is, I think that is his content. It's incredibly performative. But
yes,
I wrote like this big statement about it. Like me and my brother were like locked in. And I had said that he's setting the standard as being the biggest creator. When people think of, like when my granddad will think of a YouTuber, that is the YouTuber that they think of because it's the one that specifically the older generation hear a lot about within the media, right? So when the world's biggest content creator is now setting the standard that your human ability is not fast enough, you have to operate with the machine and be quick. At what stage do we start seeing AI channels or whatever, which we're already seeing, pumping out 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 videos a day, filling the algorithm, changing the algorithm code, and then me and you cannot keep up, and no matter how hard our audience tries to find our channels, they can't. I was not on YouTube during Adpocalypse, or I wasn't making money, or it was not my job during it, right? Are there any similarities or anything that you're seeing from how the community acted back then? If people don't remember, Adpocalypse was after Logan Paul, right? And they like changed what was it again? I completely forget.
They've had a few Adpocalypses. One of them was where they'll program the algorithm to have these outliers on the back end, and the outliers are like, hey, these are rules, and they don't want the algorithm to do X, Y, Z. And what happened with the first Adpocalypse, I believe, is that they programmed the algorithm to, with these outliers, but the algorithm is a self-thinking AI. That's why I call the algorithm Al on YouTube, because it's a very smart algorithm. It is a self-thinking algorithm.
Sometimes I forget that it is an algorithm as well. I'm like, wait, they think I love this video.
It's like I call him Al because it's like a person.
Yeah.
And what Al did during the first, I think, Adpocalypse, I believe, and this was years ago, so I apologize if I can't remember this perfectly, but I remember Al was like, I hear what you're saying, but if I put this ad on this type of video, you're actually going to get the target demo. Like you're going to get the audience you'd want more. But you could, on the back end say, like, I don't want to advertise my content on, videos with alcohol or videos that had violence in them or something. Like, I don't want my brand associated with XYZ. But Al would see those things and usually would follow the rules, but started to make decisions on his own and say, I hear you, but if I put these over here, you're actually going to get better results, so I'm going to do it anyways. And that's what caused the first Adpocalypse, is huge brands were noticing that their ads were playing on videos that they did not. They specifically asked that they do not play on. They didn't want anything to do with. So then they had to go and, probably write a million more lines of code to correct Al to put him in timeout and make him behave again. But yeah, it's really interesting. Some of the adpocalypses were caused by the algorithm itself with performance, and then the other ones caused socially, like with Logan Paul doing the Suicide Forest video and having huge major brands pull out because they didn't want anything to do with and be associated with that type of content creation because of those ethics.
I think as well with the algorithm, I think people need to realize that like the algorithm doesn't care about, like, it is AI at the end of the day, right? And it will prioritize what will make the company the most amount of money. So
if it's programmed to do that.
If it's programmed to do that.
Which it is.
Yeah. And then, but if you think though, when channels are going to be able to post all those videos, that is obviously what'll get pushed out, because the more videos, the more money for the platform and the creator. And I just honestly see it as like a really sad ending of, I do believe that there's going to be another apocalypse soon, because at what stage does AI start creating content on these channels that are literally just programmed by AI? At what stage does inappropriate content start being posted, or things that are going too far, or incredibly violent things, or inappropriate? And then there's a huge ramification.
Like weird, this series of like shorts that are like, watch this video to the end to see Rosanna nude, and
oh my God.
I'm not nude in there, but they're just using my name and like an imagery for like a clickbait, and it's all AI. So it's just weird stuff like that I don't have anything to do with. I've reported every single one. I've talked to my, YouTube rep, and they said I would have to individually report every single one. And there's, hundreds of them being made a day. So it's like, so to fight AI, I have to have my own AI. To fight the bots, you have to have your own bots.
That's a crazy way of putting it, yeah.
And I think it's kind of a sad reality that content creators in the future, to keep up with AI, might have to use AI tools. I do think that is a sad reality. I just am really hoping that people are encouraging slowing it down.
Yeah.
Even though I know that that's realistically probably not possible,
happen.
Just at least not encouraging speeding it up
before
safeguards, until we have environmental things that can keep up with the demand. And I just don't think that we're there yet, and I think that's what I've been disappointed about with the Mrbeasts AI tool that he released on his website, View Stats. I've also heard, I wrote down some reviews of people who actually are fans of AI and they wanted it to work. They were fans of his, and they purchased it and tried it out to give it a fair shot and was hoping it'd be great. And they said that they were heavily disappointed. It just sucked. They said the quality of the AI thumbnail tool he released just sucked. They said it was a subpar tool, and it's not, they said it was almost, they felt like a ripoff of Pixel, which apparently is another AI thumbnail tool. The whole website was laid out was a near identical copy of Pixel and how it functioned. So it was just a ripoff. So
imagine an AI tool not even being creative. Like, not even like this. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing, guys?
Couldn't even originally create an AI tool that rips off other people's work. Like, that's just.
And again, they're all going to start competing with each other. All the AI places, like, if there's like alleged copying going on, are going to start competing with each other as well. And they're AI, so they're going to start working, against each other as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the reviews thing is crazy. And I think it's really interesting you bring that up, because it shows as well, like, people are willing to try it. And if people are willing to try it and still being let down, like, what are we doing here? And I think as well, what's like just really fascinating about whenever I talk to you about this is we're realistic. We know that AI is not going, and we know that it's continuing and stuff like that. And it's like, how does that look in our lives? And I think the conversation about AI needs to be a little bit realistic, because people will preach that they don't use AI, but every single phone not uses AI. Every single computer, like, you are using AI all the time.
Yeah, we were talking about this at the bar, and I was upset by this, but I didn't know that when I was Googling, when I would just type into my normal search engine like I had for years, it was brought to my attention that now it runs it
The AI
searches
overview.
AI,
Oh my
the
God.
overview, which, you know, that's not something
Well,
I had intended to even use it.
yeah, I remember
And a
you
lot of
saying
people
that,
aren't
yeah.
even aware of that. They
It's
don't know that
also
when they Google something,
incredibly
they're also using AI. They don't know.
it's incredibly inaccurate as well, because it takes
Yes.
like all of the articles and then we'll condense it. And I'm like, most of my friends are journalists, God bless them, and they're saying how Google is going to be ran off because people are not going to be able to pay to write articles anymore,
Yep.
because people are no longer clicking on an article, which makes the company money, which employs journalists, which is why, unfortunately, most of my friends have literally been laid off in the last couple months, because when you have tools that are condensing other people's work and then you don't have to click on anything, the individual or the entity is not making money on it. AI, I guess, is just making money on it. And I think as well, at what stage do we get to that nobody's making any money, and who's the one behind it all that makes the money? I think kind of in closing for me on the AI thing and the Mrbeast of it all with that tool is fundamentally you cannot be a creator of his size without, we've seen him being, in my opinion, very unethical. And I just think that when you're feeding into that narrative or continuing to boost what people are calling you out for, it just sets a very dangerous like tone for me as well. And I think my final thing on the Mrbeast AI generative tool, because I was so pissed in my video about it, is it's slop, it's lazy, it kills creativity, it steals creativity.
Yeah.
It will change the way people interact with content, and it will eventually change the algorithm. And in my opinion, it is the start of the final adpocalypse, because they're not going to need to put ads on AI videos, and then the AI videos are the ones getting views, and then your favorite content creator can no longer afford to make videos, and then what happens then? So my final question for you is, when you kind of take a step back, as say you're not a content creator and say you're just like a regular person watching YouTube,
I'm a
right?
regular person. I'm just watching YouTube. I've never made a video in my life.
And you're going onto YouTube and you're seeing Mrbeast have this new tool, right? What do you think your honest opinion would be of it, not being a content creator?
I think not being a content creator and also not having any experience personally with him, if I try to remove all my bias, and I can never remove all of my bias because I
Of course.
have known him for years, and I have, I've been open about it, but I've worked with him off of YouTube on multiple business projects, like off of YouTube. But trying to remove all that, I would just think it's a bit hypocritical.
Yeah.
What I've seen is him complaining in the past that other people stole his thumbnails.
Oh my God, I
and
forgot
would
about that.
just
Yeah.
put his face on them, and he publicly complained about this, about his thumbnails being stolen, because he's putting time and resources, maybe he's paying an artist, maybe multiple artists, to make these thumbnails, to do all this A/B testing, putting all this energy into it, and then someone else is ripping it off. That's the exact concept of the AI thumbnail tool that he released. So I think that is hypocritical. I also think it's hypocritical in the sense where he says he cares for the environment.
Yeah.
And knowing how harsh AI is on the environment, destroys the environment, and we don't have the energy reserves built. We don't have the systems built to keep up with that amount of AI. That needs to be done.
But he builds trees. Bro, he builds trees. Don't
For
forget.
how many trees he's planted.
I know, it's so bad.
It cancels it out for probably just a few people using his AI tools.
Yeah.
That, and also, I would just encourage people to do their research on team trees, team Cs, and any other team things he has coming out in the future. Because if you look dollar for dollar where the money is going, that's my best advice to most people doing any type of investigative anything. Follow the money.
Yeah. I think I would say, like, to the muckers, because we talk about this all the time, is I think now so more than ever is really important to support artists. like specifically artists who are having their work stolen, and supporting people that are working and are talented. And I just think that's really, really, really important.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to be so depressing with you,
No,
but
it's not
it's something
depressing.
it's something that like we had
real.
we had this literally in person, no cameras, and I was just like, I need to talk about this with you online. So for me to not end this in a way where people are clicking off this video and being like, wow, I'm so fucking depressed.
I'm so sad.
We know that AI is here forever.
Yeah.
As a content creator, what do you see as a plus of it? If we're aware of the issues, we're aware of the damage, we now know that it's not going to leave, and it's going to be a part, and will probably lead to an apocalypse and all like this. But what do you see as a good thing about it? Because for me, my answer is, what I think if we're going to use AI, it should be used for is it can really help accessibility and captions, which again, you should be hiring someone to do that. But if it's, if it helps someone and someone's able to enjoy that video, who, if that creator was not going to pay for captions already, then that's great. I think the accessibility is the only real plus I see of it. But I'm really intrigued to hear what you would say about it, because again, anytime I talk to you, you're very realistic with AI as well. So like you're forward thinking with it, whereas I'm just more negative. So what would you say is like a positive thing of it?
I would say the biggest benefit I think AI has is advancing medical research. I think that it could do wonders in that area.
Yeah.
And that's where I hope people would use it for. And when they're like, AI could be used for good or bad, and I'm like, please use it for good. Please use it for medical advancement. I think it could move mountains.
Yeah.
I think that as a species, we're just so dumb when it compared to like where we should be.
Yeah.
And I think those areas, it could just do so well. But content creation for artists, I mean, it's always been hard for artists.
Yeah.
Whether we're singers, writers, struggling artists have always been struggling artists. And I think that AI is just going to make it, in some small ways, maybe a little bit more efficient for people. And then in very large ways, a lot harder.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get overflooded by an amount of AI content that you can't keep up with, because it's just not human, it's machine.
I think in closing then, what I will say is, I think I'm personally choosing to source out content creators, I think, more now, because I'm so overridden by like AI slop that I'm really finding like creators that are sitting, and I know you have your podcast as well, and I love podcasts now. I love long conversations, and I love whatever, because truly what I fundamentally believe, the one good thing about all of this is I don't believe that AI will be able to replicate the real connection that someone can have with a YouTuber. And again, with the Hall of Fame at VidCon, when you think about the connection people have with you, with Grace Helbig, with Smosh, and the audiences are still there in some cases, and they're even stronger now because people, people can realize a real person. And I know that people can have like online relationships with like ChatGPT and stuff like this, but I do believe that the good that can come from this is maybe people are going to like start supporting their favorite people more, because they are so overridden by AI that they care enough. And I think that that's why podcasts and stuff in the future are going to be really great.
Lean into the real ones. That's great advice. I'll say Hank Green's channel is a good example. It's just him sitting and talking to camera, and it performs really well. And just any advice I could give would be lean into the real ones, lean into people that you trust, and just know that, nobody's perfect. Humans make mistakes, but at least at the end of the day, if you think that they're trying to do good and trying to make a difference, I think that's the most important.
Yeah.
And I just encourage anyone and leaders in AI, safeguards, please, for the love of God. I mean, you're probably not going to do it. I hear you, but please, God, Rosanna is begging for some safeguards. You probably won't listen, but I'm begging. I will get on my knees and beg for some safeguards. I also will beg for more energy efficiency, like solar. God, just put in 17 billion solar panels somewhere.
Let's do it.
I know, like all these billionaires, you have enough money. Just buy the panels and put them in.
I think, what's really beautiful.
I'll give a lap dance to somebody who buys 17 billion solar panels.
I'll be joining you there as well.
Okay, you'll get, listen to this.
We're giving you an offer.
Yeah, our offer is, look, 2 free lap dances if you will buy 17 billion solar
And
panels.
say #gifted.
And
#gifted.
just power the world so that the continued use of AI is not going to destroy our planet to the point where it's like Skynet and it's in Terminator times and
Yeah.
I'm having to start a rebel alliance. Please don't make Rose start a rebel alliance. I want to be baking cookies in my retirement. I want to be making oatmeal delicious cookies, gluten-free, delicious. You know, I don't want to be fighting Skynet. God, give a girl a break.
What I will say in closing is there's
Yeah.
something incredibly beautiful about how depressing this video was, but we ended it with, we're just gonna give lap dances. Okay, Ro, thank you so much for your time. I really, really, really value when people have open conversations about what is actually going on. I think it only helps, and I'm really excited to see the comments on this because I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions on it, and I think it's important to talk about it. So
Me too.
I value you wanting to talk about it, continuing to talk about it. You already know who Ro is. Everything will be linked down below as well. But I appreciate you again. And we filmed the podcast.
Yes.
I don't know if it'll be out by this or whatever, but go and watch it. Also, go and watch our first video when we like sabered champagne because it is one of the most chaotic videos of all goddamn
You were
time.
so scared.
I was having a panic
See,
attack.
I could not believe it. I was like, okay, this is great. This is getting him outside of his comfort zone. He's doing something new. This is great for him. And then I'm like, I saw the footage. I
You
was like,
watching the
no,
footage
he's-
back of me literally
he's,
being like
shaking.
this.
He's like shaking.
All right. Well, muckers, love
Adam,
you
I
lots.
just had to toughen you up for robot apocalypse just in case.
And you know what?
Just in case,
I'm going to be
guys.
prepping for that lap dance now.
Yeah.
So, all right. I'll see you on my next one. I hope you're all doing very well. And how did we? I don't even know how we did it. All right. Bye.